Hello everybody, it is me, Gary, meet my Gary. I'm doing a YouTube video. Interesting, I know. Normally I just do like TikToks and Instagram, but I thought I would give YouTube a little go, maybe for just them longer, more informative videos I want to do. I just can't quite fit it into that 1 minute bracket, especially because I like to talk so much. Today it's going to be a good one. So I do work for L'Oreal Lux, just a little disclaimer for you. I'm going to be talking to you about the new formula of the Lancome All Ultra Wear. So this has been a favourite of mine for so long, so I was a little bit nervous. I was like, am I going to be upset? I use this on all my brides and on myself. If I want a foundation that I know is just going to last all day for me, it's foolproof, it's my ride or die, that's the one I go for. I've used it for years, even way before I worked for L'Oreal, and I've just not found anything that works as well for me. Just a little bit of information. I'm 25, I've got oily skin, actually oily but dehydrated skin, I would say. I hydrate a lot of the time, I do a lot of travelling and stuff like that for work, so it sort of throws it out of whack a little bit. It's honestly problem solver for me, so let's get into it. So you've got the new formula with a new look. How sleek does that bottle look? This is what the original was, but things have been improved for the better, basically. So I'm going to start my usual skin prep. So we're starting off with the Lancome Genefique. So it did originally launch in '97, the year I was born. So it's had a few renovations. So each time it's just to make it sort of like bigger and better. So what's changed? So it's now got what's called advanced airwear technology. So what that means, it's going to be ultra life proof, ultra comfortable, ultra breathable and ultra thin. They've also extreme tested it to make sure it's full 24-hour wear. And now with a serum base, it makes it wearable for all skin ages, all skin types, and all skin tones. So there are 45 shades and the shade range has changed. For example, I was 024. I've not got the exact match from this shade to the other. It was more like my tan shade, and at the moment I'm not fake tanning. There are conversions, but I would recommend just going in the store, getting rematched again, giving it a go. Your skin might have changed, you might fancy something different. So before it was like 024, all these sort of random numbers, they weren't very easy for like customers to navigate, whereas now it should be a lot easier. So what they've done is you've now got your intensity. So you've got 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500, like your fair, light, medium, medium deep and deep. You've got the letter corresponding with your undertone, got cool, neutral and warm. I'm going to be using 225, so we'll give that a go in a sec. It should make it a little bit easier for you. So like in the summer, if you want to go up a shade, you know to sort of stay in your intensity and just go up a couple of numbers within that bracket, or to stay in the same undertone essentially. I believe it also means it's going to correlate sort of across the globe, as before as well you would sort of, the numbers in the US were different to what was in the UK, etc. Hopefully now that should be a little bit more simpler. I'm going to talk you through sort of colour matching, my old formula and my new formula, because one is a warm undertone, which is my older one, and the neutral undertone is my new one. How do you find undertone to start with? What does that mean? Undertone, which is going to be a little bit more essentially that pinky undertone. Neutral, which is in the middle, and then you've got warm, which does what it says on the tin. You're going to have them warmer undertones. So the easiest way to sort of figure this out, how do you react in the sun? If you burn and you don't tan, you're probably going to be a cool undertone. If you tan really well, you're probably a warm undertone. And if you're sort of like, you might burn then tan, neutral, like myself. Also like jewellery, do you suit silver jewellery, do you suit gold, do you suit a mix? I wear a mix, therefore neutral undertone. We can look at like surface tones. I say like I've got redness here. You might be conflicted to think I'm slightly pinkier, but that's just surface tone. So like things like rosacea, acne, that can sort of skew it. But basically what you want to make sure is that your face matches your body. Try a few shades and see how you get on. It comes down to preference. So if you fake tan, you're going to want a warmer undertone because generally tan is warm. I'm going to show you the sort of two formulas next to each other. So we've got the old formula and the new formula. If I blend this out this way, you see that's got much more of that warmth to it. You see this is much more neutral. On the warm neutral side, which is my preference, that just blends much nicer. And I do want a bit of warmth. I don't want a true match personally, because I like to have a bit of lift and something that will take me when I fake tan. When I'm fairer, I can sort of get away with the two, bronze it up more. That just works better for me rather than having two foundations. And we do it here because then you can see how it's going to blend down the neck. I would literally have to, well, I have been having to blend it down the neck because you see how warm that is on my skin. So let's just cleanse that away. Honestly, don't be afraid to ask and get matched up in store. I know sometimes it can feel a bit daunting, but everyone's there to help you, and the end decision is always up to you. You choose what feels right for you. You want to go lighter, you might want to go warmer, you might not want to use your undertone of your skin, and that's your preference. Let's actually get into it. What's the difference between the two formulas? I mentioned the airwear technology already. The reason it works for a lot more skin types and ages. Now I've got a serum base, meaning you get the skincare benefits whilst wearing it. So you've got hyaluronic acid in there, it's in everything these days, and that's going to hydrate the skin. You've got your moringa, which is actually a antibacterial. So this is great for anyone who's maybe acne prone and things like that. It's going to help to treat the skin. And then you've got your vitamin E, which is obviously a hydrating ingredient, but it's also got pollution protection. So it's really lovely that this can be like a day-to-day. It's so buildable and easy to use. Looks super flawless on the skin. So that's like literally less than half a pump on one side, and I love it because it looks like skin, but it covers, it evens out the skin tone beautifully. For me, it really works for having that full cover that doesn't feel full coverage. So on the other side, SPF of 39 in there as well, so that's a little bit higher than before. And again, it's just more of that protection and making sure we've got something that can be worn from day to night. Lotion's great for, I know I said I use it for my brides. It photographs absolutely beautifully, and I don't find you get any flashback at all, which is what we want. Great thing for those deeper undertones or olive undertones, they've added ultramarine pigment into the deeper ones, which stops getting that ashy tone and stops it being too orange. And then the same with the green undertone for those sort of more olive complexions. Again, stop with the ashiness and stop them tones becoming too orange. So that is just with the foundation. Like, stunning. Really been enjoying it, and it looks just gorgeous on the skin. Matte but not flat, that's how I like to explain it. Go on with a little bit of all over concealer. This is the shade 025 as well. This, honestly, I've never been obsessed with a concealer so much. It's like my summer saviour. You get the really nice long wear, but it hydrates and doesn't really crease for me, which is super nice. I'll leave that to set for a sec, and you can also use it anywhere on the face. It does what it says on the tin, all over concealer. That is a gorgeous one, and it just blends really seamlessly. Look how easy that is to blend. It just lifts the complexion that little bit under the eye. Super dark, especially on this side. I've got like a darker vein, which I find quite hard to cover actually, because it's that bold sort of blue line, and I'm not really a fan of colour correctors. I think he just builds up too much around the eye, and the more product you have around there, the more likely it is to crease, look drier throughout the day. Going around our eyes is so much thinner. That's why I was prepped with like an eye cream or an eye serum, something to just hydrate. That is just foundation and concealer. So let's finish off the rest of the base. That's dirty. Danessa Myricks contour balm. I am obsessed with this. Almost all gone. Best sort of cream bronzer contour I found. It just is so easy to blend, and the fact that it's called a contour balm, it kind of sounds a bit scary for oilier skin, but honestly it's stunning. And when I've used this on clients, it just works so well, like on a range of sort of skin types, and they last ages as well. I can't even remember when I bought this, and a little bit goes a long way. It's probably my favourite brush for like a cream bronze. It's easy to get in there. For the nose, I literally just do that. I'm lazy. I'm not contouring the whole snout because I've got time. A big old forehead. I moan about the big forehead, but I actually find it a bit boring when you go to do someone's makeup and I'm like, go to put bronzer on their forehead and they've got a tiny forehead. I'm like, oh my god, what do you do? So seamless, like any work at all basically. A pinkier blush, and I like to mix these two. Fluid Sheer in number 8. So these actually I think it's supposed to use underneath. This mixed with a cream blush, gorgeous, made by Mitchell Blursh. So I've just reordered one of these because this is like nearly dead. And the colour looks really different. Like that's really light and then the original is really pink. Is it a formula change? I don't know. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I actually started doing it just because it was coming to the end and I just wanted to make it go a bit further. But it just gives this really nice sort of radiant blush. It's very much on the sort of trend of that pinky tone, like the super light pink. I was such a peach blush girl, but I'm really quite into the pink at the moment. I love a good blush moment. Just subtle though. And that catches just the light in a really like natural way. Gorgeous. So I'm gonna set the under eye with It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. This is the best powder ever. Don't at me. Like, if you feel the texture, it's just literally so lightweight. It feels like silk. It's so finely milled and it just blurs over, but it's almost like undetectable on the skin. I don't get any flashback with this powder. I'm in a pressed form if you prefer pressed, but I quite like a loose, apart from the fact it's messy. Just easy, isn't it? Easy. I find it doesn't cling anywhere. I'm just going to do a touch of powder bronze. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in Sun-Kissed Bronzer, I think. The shading really confuses me. I always thought they didn't come in shades. I thought it was just one. Apparently not. I can't find a bronzer I prefer to this one, if I'm honest. Interestingly, I was talking to my friends the other day and they were like, I hate that bronzer now. Like, oh, can't seem to get off it. And for the price, can't go wrong. Just looks flawless, doesn't it? Even if I do say so myself, but I think the foundation realistically is doing the work for me. Let's do a little spritz of All Nighter just to seal the deal. Oh, I thought it was a new one. I didn't think it was going to spray. Sometimes I like to shower in it. Depends on the vibe. Right, I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and then show you what it looks like when we're finished. So that is our finished look. I mean, it's approved by me. I'm definitely in love with this formula. I just love the way it looks. It just looks really flawless. Gives coverage, but also natural at the same time. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it just ticks all the boxes for me, personally. I'll show you in some different lights, shall I? So you can see what it looks like in natural light. I'll have that just under the ring lights. I have to excuse the fact that you can see the mess in the background. So this is what we look like in natural light. See what I mean though? Just like radiant matte.